Okay, so I'm hoping that a lot of you will remember this, the smithing magician, aka blacksmith helper, guillotine tool, whatever you like to call it. I can't remember when I did this, it was quite a few years ago. And I did offer it as a made up piece, but they were quite expensive because getting the laser cutting was quite expensive. For those of you who haven't actually seen it, I will put a link at the end of the video, so look out for that if you haven't seen it, check it out. The plans for it are also available on there, so you can download them for free as long as you use it for your own use, not going to knock out dozens and flog them. Quickly recap, these are the plain old dies that drop in here. One goes in the bottom, one goes in the top, you drop through. These are a bit tight because these are brand new and they've got a little bit of a burr on the edge, so they don't go in, and you can make them into whatever shapes you like, rounds, or put cutouts in them, whatever you like. They're the blanks. So anyway, yeah, I as I say, sold a few of these. Over Christmas I got a bit bored, so I got the CAD program out and I redesigned this. I wanted to make it simpler because putting it together is really quite tricky. Getting the gaps in here for the dies exactly right, you know, using shims and clamping it all up, trying to get it square. It was really quite tricky, so I decided I'd try and make it simpler. So that I could offer it as a kit, so that those of you who haven't quite got as many facilities could do it yourself easily. So anyway, this is what I came up with. Let's get rid of that one. Oh. Right. The first part, the base. As you can see, it's a little bit more complicated with all the holes. The two sides, again, lugs and holes. And I'm trying to make it so that there's not too many different pieces. So a lot of these I've doubled up. So there's now two of these, whereas they were different, slightly different before on the original one. Two of these, again, they were slightly different on the original. There's another piece. And the last piece, which is the only bit that stayed the same, is the front. It goes on there. So in theory, sorry, in theory, it should go together fairly easily. So let's see if we can put it together. So what I've dry run this a couple of times, lay a side down, and start slotting together. No, that's there. That one. There. This one. There. That one. And there. And then hopefully drop that over the top and get your base. Oh, that wasn't supposed to happen. Drop it into your base. Done. So it all needs, you know, you're going to have to tap it around a bit to get it to go in properly. But then now it's fairly sturdy. You know, all you've got to do is clamp it down, clamp it in, put a few tacks on the lugs. You probably wouldn't need to fully weld it, depending on how much grief you're going to give it. If I was doing it myself, I probably would put some reasonably good tacks, you know, along the bottoms. Just put a couple here, a couple there, there and there, just to make sure. But for these metal pieces that, you know, in here, you know, you wouldn't have to get inside with a welder or anything. You could literally just tack around the lugs. That's the theory. So that's it. I don't know what you think about it. This I have already tapped the holes in the front here. And I've done them 6mm, and these are stainless cap-headed or socket-headed bolts. And see that getting this bit done was quite tricky. Trying to hold it on. I think in the original one I might have even tacked it on and then drilled the holes and then broke the tacks off, which still isn't a bad idea. I don't know if these dies will fit. Yeah, see, these fit a bit better. I've made my tolerances a little bit wider on this particular model. See, that's basically how it works. You stick your material in there, drop that down on it and hit the top. Now these are basically mild steel. It's EN, not sure it's EN3B or something or other. It's basically mild steel. Now these do mushroom a bit if you use it a lot, but what you can do is what I've done on some of mine, the ones I use more, is just run some hard facing rods down here, and that just helps it to last a little bit longer. Although they do last a hell of a long while, you know, you have to use them an awful lot to wear them right out. The only thing that isn't laser cut, I'll show you, is that small hole there. Now that's not laser cut because it's too close to these oblongs. They couldn't really cut it very easily, so I just put that in afterwards once I've got it. And you may wonder why that's there. Well, it's there so that you can get the bottom die out. Sometimes scale from the hot metal drops down this gap, you know, tiny little gap. But if you're doing quite a lot, you haven't got time to keep taking it out, cleaning it out, so it ends up getting compacted down there, and you go to change dies and it won't come out. So we just put a little hole in the bottom there, and just put a punch up, give it a tap, your die pops out. Now again, the other reason this top piece is bolted on, which I do cover in the original video, but if you can't be bothered to watch that, I'll tell you why. If you want to put dies in that are wider than this, which is 12mm, bottom one's easy because you can weld a piece of, I don't know, inch, whatever you like on there basically. It'll still drop in there. But you weld a lump of inch on that one, it ain't gonna go. So I've made this removable, so you simply take that off, put your die in, screw that back on, done, you've got bigger dies. That's the theory anyway. So I don't know what you think of that. I'd like to hear your thoughts, whether anybody would be interested in the kit form, or even still having it built up, because it'd be easier to put together. The only downside I've found so far, which I might be able to negotiate, is because it's the patterns are a lot more complicated with all these lugs and slots and holes. It's actually slightly more expensive to get laser cut, so it sort of swings and roundabouts. I'm not sure whether I'm going to put the plans up for this one, or at least put them up for free. My original ones are up for free. I might put these up at a nominal fee just to try and cover some of the costs, and then I might be able to offer them built up slightly cheaper. We'll see. I want to gauge your thoughts on it. Now shipping again is going to be quite expensive. It weighs, with a set of dies in, it's just under 8 kilos by the time it's packaged. Now that's a lot to send airmail. The cheapest quote I've got so far is about £30 or just over. Now I'm not sure if that's right. It says so on the website, but until you actually go and do it, I don't know. So that's another thing, you know, to bear in mind. So that's it really, I think. Oh yeah, on this particular one, the reason it's all shiny on the outsides, there's two reasons. One is, this is the prototype. I redid the CAD drawings over Christmas and I made my tolerances a little bit too tight. I made these slots exactly 12mm to fit exactly 12mm lugs, and because the 10mm that way, because this is 10mm, but the sides are 12mm, so these bottom holes, get it apart again. These bottom holes are 12mm square. 12mm for the thickness of the material and 12mm because I made the lug 12mm. In theory it should have worked, but thinking about it, I remember on my last CAD drawing that I did for laser cutting, I made a bit of an allowance and I didn't on these. So I had to do a bit of filing. I don't know if you can actually see it on any of these. Well, you might be able to. I don't know. See if I can. How close I can get. You can see I've sort of filed the edges, but some of them, like on the bottoms of these. Let's see if you can see it. It's much more obvious that I've tapered them. Hang on, let's see if I can show you it on this. You might be able to see it that way. Come on, let's get me. I can't figure out my left from my right here. There we go. You might be able to see it. Anyway, trust me, I've tapered them slightly in all directions, purely because they were just too tight. So I've redone the drawings again. I haven't yet sent them off to get a second one cut to try them, but trust me that I will keep doing it until I get it right. Although it's going to be quite expensive to keep getting just one-offs cut. You can see they slot in quite nicely. The thing is, I don't want them too loose, because then you end up losing, you know, you can get it far out of square too easily. I wanted it fairly tight so that you can put a square on it, put a clamp on it, give it a little tap here and there, and it's done. Haven't got to muck about too much. So, I say, give me your thoughts in the comments. Be quite interested to hear what you've got to say. I might ignore it all, but still interested. There you go. Smithing Magician Mark II. Hopefully some people will quite enjoy to put that together. Right, there you go. Thanks for watching that. Just on a side note, wait there. Have you worked this out yet? Where is it? There you go. Have you worked that out? If you have no idea what I'm talking about, check out SW Dweeb. Check out his channel. He's running a little competition at the moment because he needs some subs, because I don't know if you know, YouTube are demonetising anyone who hasn't got 1,000 subs or 4,000 views. So I think that's disgusting. So pop along there, have a look. He's running a competition. That's the question. What does his logo mean? Leave him the answer in the comments. No, you can't leave the answer in the comments. You've got to email him the answer, obviously, because you'll be able to see other people's answers. So anyway, pop along there, give him a look. He's got some great stuff, especially on casting. If you're interested in casting, he's really getting into that now. So there you go. Thanks for watching. Hopefully we'll catch you on the next one.